In fact, I actually want to buy another pair just so, I don't know, I have an extra in case something goes wrong with these ones. Hi, it's Jamie from Hello Fidelity. How are you doing? I'm here today with a review of the TECHNICS SB-F1 speakers. First off, I want to thank everybody who commented on my previous video with all the TECHNICS gear, telling me which ones they liked and which ones they didn't like, and I am really sorry that it took me this long to come out with another video. I've been wrapped up because I just started graduate school. To guide the review of our TECHNICS SB-F1s here, I put together 10 questions and I popped them in this little bag, and I thought we can go through them. And these are questions that I would have wanted to have known before I purchased the SB-F1s myself. So let's go. In no particular order, let's begin. How much were these speakers when they were released? The SB-F1s were released in 1978 for $230 then. With inflation, that would be the equivalent of just over $1,000 today. But I got the secondhand for 120-ish US dollars. Question number 2. What music do you like to listen to on these speakers, aka what do they sound good with? I find myself listening to jazz the most with these speakers, maybe with the whole 70s vibe. I listen to a lot of, for example, Thelonious Monk with John Coltrane. Another type of music that I listen to using these speakers is more kind of like a chill type mood, for example, like the Crumbins. So I have to say that these speakers don't have a lot of bass, so don't expect, dance music of that sort. But I would say that most music do work quite well with these speakers, especially when they are propped up on a stand. I kind of like them. I like that sound a lot more when they're up on a stand. Question 3. What do you dislike the most about these speakers? That they're not more readily available for purchase? I would say maybe when you're listening to, this is a hard one, because on one hand I was going to say the lack of bass is quite evident with some kinds of music, but then that doesn't bother me so much, so I can't say that is something that I dislike the most about it. Maybe the thing that if I'm picky, is that sometimes some vocals can sound a little bit nasally with these speakers. So that's my little criticism about them. Question number 4 is, how small are they really? So they are 21 centimeters tall, 11.8 centimeters wide, and 12.6 centimeters deep. Question number 5. Can you share a little bit about how you came to purchase these speakers? So this pair that I have was bought secondhand online. It can definitely be a risk buying vintage old electronics online because you don't know if it's going to work or not, and even trying to repair them or fix them up is always kind of a hit or miss. However, my experience so far has been, if I try to buy something online, secondhand, I try to look for people who seem to be collectors rather than pure kind of buyers, sellers, because I find that collectors take better care of their gear, and so it usually kind of stays in more pristine condition. So I got this pair from a website called Bedford Vintage Hi-Fi, and the guy who runs the website had a really nice collection of vintage gear, so I'll be happy to link him down below. He was really friendly and super helpful, so definitely go check him out. Question number 5. What 3 words would you use to describe these speakers? I would say the concept of them is cool. just given how small they are. Visually, I would pick the word aesthetic, and the sound, I think I would say bright, in a good way. I like bright sounds. All right, let's see. Next question. What are some similarly priced speakers and how do they compare? This was actually a tough one when I was thinking about it, because you really cannot buy any new bookshelf speakers for about $120 that would give you something similar. So I thought to myself, what were some kind of similarly priced things? And the only thing that I could come up with was the Apple HomePods. So the Apple HomePods, I would say, definitely has way more bass, but it doesn't sound good in my opinion. So I did plug them up side by side to compare, and I definitely like these guys a lot more. To me, a good pair of speakers is one that makes you want to keep listening to the music, right? And when I use the Apple HomePods, it always just seems, you know, normal. You just play it. Usually it kind of is not the focus, the music, you know, it's more like you just play some background music and then you're doing stuff. But every time I plug these guys in, I definitely find myself just being a bit more present and listening to the music. And I'm always pleasantly surprised by how small they are, but how good they sound for their size. So to me, the SB-F1s definitely, I think, trump many other options out there that are similarly priced in the kind of, you know, $120 range. Question number 9 says, how do you set them up in your space? Because the SB-F1s are small, so I wouldn't expect them to sound crazy loud, so I like to pair them with smaller TECHNICS amps from the same era, like the SU-CO3 and the SU-CO4s. And because I like to swap amps easily, I also added banana plugs to the back for ease of switching. Last question, number 10. Let's see. Wow, this is a very fitting last question. I did not plan this, but it goes, would you buy them again? And the answer is absolutely yes, in a heartbeat. In fact, I actually want to buy another pair just so, I don't know, I have an extra in case something goes wrong with these ones. They're definitely my most favorite out of all the TECHNICS speakers that I have because they're so small. I love them, but they also sound really good, and they're also very easy to use, and they just are just so pleasant. You know, they kind of create a nice vibe. They fit in many rooms because they're small, desk height. I just really like them. There's nothing bad about these speakers that I have to say. The whole bass thing does not bother me at all. And so 10 out of 10, I would recommend them. I would buy them again. And I think they sound great with most vocals, most music, except super, you know, upbeat, dancey, heavy bass type music, but everything else sounds great. So if you come across them, definitely snag one up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!